Hi, welcome back for the 15th installment of The Benefits of Being an Octopus by Anne Braden. Today we're picking up on page 175. We had just found out at the very end yesterday why Fuchsia's been so upset lately and why she's been having a hard time talking with Zoe. And it's because her mom's boyfriend was the person who shot a gun in the parking lot during that lockdown day. So, Fuchsia was in the vehicle when that gun was discharged. So obviously, that's a little upsetting for her, especially since that shot came with a threat against her. So that's where we're picking up with our story. Okay, Google, set a timer for 15 minutes.
15 minutes, starting now.
I'm so sorry. I reach out and awkwardly pull her into a hug. When Fuchsia pulls away, she shakes her head. Who does that? I mean, really? All I can see is Lenny, who grew up with Frank for a dad and just spent 4 years carrying around bags of smelly old people diapers for a living. Fuchsia doesn't wait for an answer, though. She produces a makeup mirror from her pocket and checks her eyeliner. Have you told the police anything? I ask. No, she says. What good would that do? Well, they can arrest him, can't they? Yeah, and then one of his buddies will post bail for him and I'll be dead before the trial even starts. She snaps the makeup mirror shut. I feel better now that I told you, though. Thanks. She stands up. Where are you going? I ask. Back to the apartment. We've got one more day there. And then my mom's borrowing someone's truck so we can move our stuff into Michael's lovely place. Aren't you going to tell your mom? You can still call DCF. You do have a choice. She stares at the floor. I've learned my lesson about fighting back. Her teeth are still chattering from the cold. I look away and swallow the lump in my throat back down. Are you walking? I walked all the way here, didn't I? Yeah, well, I walked here from downtown earlier today. That doesn't mean I want to do it a second time. It's fine. I look out the window. The driveway is empty, which means Lenny and my mom drove rather than hitching a ride from someone else. Certain things are okay to spend gas on. Even if the car were there, what would I do? Convince Frank to get out of his recliner? Force Fuchsia to get in the car with him? Try to reach the pedals myself and get pulled over immediately? Are you sure? I say. Fuchsia sticks one hand in the pocket of her pink Florida jacket and grabs hold of the doorknob with the other. Time by myself will be good. She pauses and looks at me. I really feel better, though. Thanks. I pick my jacket up off the floor. At least put this on. Your jacket couldn't keep anyone warm. What will you wear? I'm not walking across town in the wind right now, so it doesn't matter. Fuchsia purses her lips, but then she takes my jacket. Thanks. I'll give it back to you tomorrow. I nod. I know. And then I watch her walk out into the darkness, all alone, with the wind blowing hard. One jacket isn't enough. When I go back into the bedroom, Bryce and Aurora are still awake. Time for our Tory, Aurora cries, flinging Petunia the sea turtle clear across the room. Make it about 2 kids having to stop an evil mastermind this time, Bryce says, climbing onto the bed with lasers and car racing. I crawl into their bed. It isn't simple like that. One evil mastermind that you can stop to make everything okay. Instead, it's like a horrible disease that's found its way into every corner, one that's super contagious. Aurora gets nose to nose with me. Tart the Tory! I close my eyes. I can't. And it should have sleds with blaster rockets and ants that have magical powers. Zoe, yells Aurora, you can't go to sleep. You promised a story. But I can't. If I open my eyes, I'll see Bryce and think of Lenny, and now flippin' Michael, too. My friend came to me to tell me that someone shot at her, and all I could do was give her a jacket. This disease is everywhere, and it's like the only medical equipment I have to fight back with is a Q-tip. That's not fair, Bryce says. You promised us. You can't go to sleep. It's not fair. Nothing's fair. Getting shot at means you're too scared to tell the police. Getting bullied by your boyfriend means you slap your daughter when she tries to stand up for you. Come on, Bryce jostles me. It's good for them to learn now that nothing's fair. Well, they've already learned that plenty of other places, but I might as well show them that it's true everywhere. Aurora starts crying and flings herself on top of me. Wake up! Bryce is down at the foot of the bed, whacking at my ankles with his foam lightsaber. Not fair, not fair, not fair! But I keep my eyes closed. Eventually, they tire out and fall asleep. When they do, I slither out of their bed and head to the living room to watch Angry News Guys with Frank. Because what's the point? Octopuses have 3 hearts, and all of mine have broken. Chapter 21. In the morning, on my way out the door, I see Silas disappearing around the corner, walking the same death march as yesterday. Wait, I yell. Silas! Before I can think twice about it, I'm charging down the road after him. I'm just wearing a thin hoodie since I don't have my jacket, and the frigid air grabs tight to me as I run. I get why Fuchsia didn't speak up at school about what happened, but still. Silas! I call again as soon as I turn the corner. I can't tell if he can't hear me or if he's ignoring me, but he doesn't turn around. I keep running and zero in on the camo trucker hat. If he doesn't turn around, if he refuses to talk to me, I'll just barrel right into him. I'm closing in. Silas! He turns, but his face is that expressionless wall. I stop right in front of him, and before I can even catch my breath, I blurt out, "You didn't have anything to do with that shooting in the parking lot." His face doesn't shift. I let out a long breath. Right. Well, I mutter, you probably already knew that, but I just wanted you to know that I know too. Silas squeezes his eyes shut. I watch him. Did he even hear me? Is he too closed off to care? Then, after a long moment, I see something. A tear escaping from one of his squeezed shut eyes. I look away. Then I look back because I don't want him to think that I think it's bad for him to cry. I take another step toward him and bite my lip. Kids suck, I whisper. I don't blame you for going all mute mode on everyone. He wipes the tear away and stares down at the sidewalk. My dad had to hide the phone in the closet so I wouldn't hear it keep ringing. The crank calling started right after that shooting happened, and they haven't stopped yet. He keeps playing my favorite music super loud so I won't hear it. Then he looks at me. Looks at me. But I shouldn't have stopped talking to you. You're not like the rest of them. I don't say anything. Mostly because I'm embarrassed how close I came to starting to think like the rest of them. When we get on the bus, Silas takes his normal seat. This time, though, I don't sit across from him. He doesn't say anything, but he moves his backpack onto his lap to make more room, so I know it's okay. Sometimes, if you don't have a jacket and you're sitting next to someone who does, you feel colder. But sometimes, if the right person is wearing it, you feel warmer. The problem is that, even if I know now that Silas didn't have anything to do with the shooting, that doesn't change what other people think. Moments after we get off the bus, Brendan Farley walks by Silas and mutters, "Not in jail yet?" What am I supposed to do? Shout, "It wasn't him," only to have him say, "How do you know?" And I say, "I can't tell you." I might as well be waving my tiny Q-tip around at the same time. Someone like Matt could get away with that. Me? Not so much. Especially since Brendan has turned to me and is looking me up and down like I might as well be arrested too. Fuchsia has my jacket for me when I get to my locker. "You must have been cold this morning," she says. "Thanks for this." I shrug. There are worse things. I stuff the jacket into my locker and then look at her. "I think you need to tell your mom." Fuchsia doesn't look up from a spot on the floor that she's staring at. "I've thought about it." She pauses, but she would side with him, and I don't think I could handle that. I open my mouth, but then close it again. What can I possibly say? Because I know exactly what she means. In homeroom, everyone is all in a tizzy because today was supposed to be the last day that you could order Valentine carnations, but Mr. Bontaff accidentally turned in our homeroom's envelope early. Mr. Bontaff is hunched at his desk doing attendance while a mob of mostly girls crowds around his desk, almost like they're threatening to lift him out of his chair and hurl him all the way to the faculty room to fetch back that form again. "We'd already ordered 28 flowers," Mr. Bontaff says without looking up from his computer. "That's more than one per person in this homeroom. Just divide them up when the order comes." "But I have 7 best friends who all sit at my lunch table with me," wails Savannah Bobbins. "I need to give all of them a special carnation." You can't make me choose between my best friends and my boyfriend, Mr. Bontaff. Taylor Dixwell says boyfriend loud enough to take down the walls. She and Andy Cardinelli were basically the first people to start being girlfriend-boyfriend in a serious middle school way, and she hasn't let anyone forget it. Matt, as the new 7th grade student council president, takes charge. Mr. Bontaff, can't you understand what we're saying? All we need is for you to get the envelope back. I can even do it for you. Did you turn it in to Ms. Holmes? Because I can go to her room right now and get it back from her. Mr. Bontaff shrugs. Whatever you want. Matt takes off like he's got a cape flying behind him and a giant S for 7th grade student council president emblazoned on his shirt. The rest of the kids practically swoon back into their chairs. At least Matt's going to take care of it. Thank goodness. Can you imagine having to just split up the carnations that were already ordered? I've never heard of anything so unfair. Ugh, that'd be the worst thing ever. A few minutes later, Matt proudly comes back into the room holding aloft the envelope. Ms. Holmes is even out sick today, but the sub and I managed to find this on her desk. I watched as kids crowd around Matt and the envelope waving their money, but all I can hear is those 3 words. Worst thing ever. Kind of like how not getting to share your Mars colonization idea is so unfair. Because that's the difference, isn't it? For them, it's like an easy life is automatic. And when it's not, they're all ready to pour on righteous anger and think they can do something about it. Probably because they're armed with more than just a measly Q-tip. I picture myself with that imaginary Q-tip. Honestly, what else do I have going to bat for me? And then Ms. Rochambeau's words burble up from inside me against my will. Suck it up. Chapter 22. I managed to avoid Ms. Rochambeau for almost the whole day. Because what am I going to say when she asks me why I ran away before the mock debate yesterday? Lie and say my stomach hurt, but that I was still able to walk all the way across town? Social studies is my last class of the day, and I purposefully slip into my seat right before it starts when Ms. Rochambeau is busy answering questions from that girl who keeps getting 97s on things and wants to get 100s. And when I see her starting to zero in on me toward the end of class, I quickly stand up, mumble something about needing to go to the bathroom, and sign myself out before she can reach me. There are 10 minutes left to class, but I can totally stay in a bathroom stall for 10 minutes. I slip into the stall that has "You're a slut" carved on the side. I used to like to look at it sideways and pretend that it says "You're a slug," and that it was carved by a cockroach who was just trying to help his slug friend who was having some identity issues. I hear 2 girls come in, and then another one join them soon afterwards. None of them even use the toilet, one of those prearranged meetings. They're talking about Valentine's Day carnations, of course. I sneaked a peek at our homeroom's form, and Jeffrey ordered just 1 carnation. I wonder who he's going to give it to. Ooh, I don't know. He was sick for the last dance, so we don't know anything really about who he likes. Maybe it's Nellie. I saw him watching her when she was giving her book report in English, and he looked more interested in her than he should have. I don't know. Remember how he moved out of the way to let you get ketchup during lunch yesterday? I wonder if it's you that he likes. The second lets out an excited squeak like a giddy hamster. Do you think he could? The first girl squeaks back. Maybe that 1 carnation is for you. Ooh, ee, the third girl exclaims. I can hear them jumping around together. Suck it up totally means hide in the bathroom and listen to a hamster mosh pit, right? Finally, they leave, and I exhale. I get what Fuchsia said yesterday about needing to be alone. The only problem is it feels good for the first 2 seconds, but by the 3rd second, all I can think is, I'm all alone. Except when I hear a noise in the stall next to me and suddenly realize that I'm not. It's like a muffled sob. How long has someone been in there? I peek underneath the stall. The other girl is wearing pink sneakers. Specifically, Fuchsia's pink sneakers. Fuchsia? I say. No response. Are you okay? Another muffled sob. I push open my stall door and come around to knock on hers. Are you okay? I heard her slide the lock out of the way and the door swings open to reveal a puffy, tear-stained Fuchsia. No, she sobs. I'm not. It's been years since I've seen Fuchsia cry. She was stone-faced when she was taken from her mom after that rainy day in 2nd grade. And since then, she'd get pulled from one foster family and plunked down in another. But did she ever cry? Did she ever do anything except roll her eyes and sigh and act like the world was just giving her a headache? But here she is, sitting on a toilet with tears pouring down her face like that outer shell of a person has been kicked aside, and all that's left are her quivering, crumpled up insides. I squeeze right into the stall and wrap her up in a hug, a good one, like the ones that Connor sometimes gives me. Her chest is shuddering against me, and I keep holding her tight. I'm just so scared, she finally whispers into my shoulder. Are you scared of Michael? She gulps in air and pulls away from the hug to look at me. It's not just that. I was thinking about how you said I had a choice. Well, let's pretend I somehow find the courage to actually call DCF. And it's the wrong thing to do. The hair around her face is matted with tears, and I use my finger to gently comb some of it back behind her ear. I know what foster care can be like, she continues. It wasn't that bad for me when I was in it, but it could have been so much worse. And what if I go back and it's a nightmare, and the whole time all I can think is, I did this to myself. Okay, Google, stop. All right, we'll stop there. See you again tomorrow.